For the following problems, we want to classify the discontinuity of each function as removable, jump, or infinite. So we're given a piecewise function in each one of these problems, and we need to graph it, and we can figure out if we have a removable, jump, or infinite discontinuity. So for number one, first half of our graph is x cubed. So we have a cubic function when x is less than or equal to 1. So let's start off and figure out what point we have when x is 1. Since this is less than or equal to, we know that's going to be a solid dot. It's included in this graph. And then we're going to have to graph it to the left of that. So if we put 1 in for x, we get 1 out for y. And all we did was put 1 in here, and we got 1 out. So we have a point at 1, 1. That's a closed point. And we're graphing this when x is less than or equal to 1. So you may not be very familiar with cubic functions. We can just plug in some points. Right, just make a little table here. We're going to put in 0, -1, and -2, just to get a couple points to graph this. So if we put 0 into this, we get 0 out. Put -1 in, -1 cubed is -1. Right now it's kind of looking like a straight line, but we should know cubic's not going to be a straight line. If we put -2 in for x, -2 cubed gives us -8. So it gives us a better idea of how this curves. It's going to curve through like this. Alright, so that's our left half of the graph. Now we want to look at the right half. We're going to go ahead and put 1 in to this half of the graph. Even though we know it's not included, we still need to figure out where it is, kind of where to start from. So if we put 1 in here, we get 2 out. And since this is just greater than, there's no or equal to, it's going to be an open dot at 1, 2. And then if we graph, this one's a line, a little bit easier to graph. We know the slope is -1, so we go down 1 over 1 and sketch our line. So now looking at this graph, we want to determine, is this removable, jump, or infinite? So remember, removable, we could just kind of fill in a point and make it continuous. Well, that doesn't work here. Jump means the two halves of the graph don't connect. Well, that kind of describes what we have here. So this one is a jump discontinuity. Right, the two halves of the graph don't meet. Jumps from one x value to the next one to go on to the graph.